Don's plane, part of the returning airborne armada, touched down. It was to be the noisiest arrival the airport had ever seen, as the Red and White Brigade turned the terminal into a mini Pittodrie stadium and got a look at the trophy. Police and airport staff had asked people to stay away, but the requests fell on ears obviously deafened by the shouting and cheering of the last 24 hours. But it was music to the victors.
Oh, fabulous, really terrific. Oh, we knew it'd be this, the big party, but look, I'm proud of the support who went there. It was unbelievable.
Did the success surprise you?
No. We thought we'd win. We were confident.
The local hero's journey from airport to city centre will probably go down as the slowest ever. The Education Authority refused a half-day's holiday, but the young fans weren't going to be left out, nor were a lot of other supporters. Hard to believe, but Don's followers
was waiting for them. They'd certainly expected a warm welcome, which is what they got at Aberdeen Airport. But only as their open-top coach neared the city centre did the Dons begin to realise the impact their win had had on Britain's oil capital, which had literally dried up for the afternoon. Manager Alex Ferguson was still in a daze from last night.
Well, the support, you go for your support, and they were absolutely magnificent. And the rest of the night goes in so quickly that the champagne was flowing and you don't get to your bed, but who worries with that? But, oh, it was great.
The streets, which had been deserted during the match, were packed solid as Scotland's newest football heroes came home. Hangovers were apparently rare. Many fans were still drunk from last night. All in all, it was the sort of welcome that would put even Liverpool to shame. Jeremy Hands.
The cavalcade continued its triumphant journey through the centre of the city and on to Pittodrie, where a capacity crowd were waiting to see their team and their cup. And the fans themselves have come in for high praise from the authorities in Gothenburg. The police commander said today that the 10,000-strong Red Army have behaved impeccably. Aberdeen and their supporters, he said, are welcome back any
victory. They sang their hearts out, bawled at some of the referees' decisions and cried at the end of the night. One of the most emotional nights in Scottish football. After Aberdeen scored in extra time, the remaining 7 minutes were the longest any Aberdeen fan could remember. Some turned their heads away, not bearing to look. Others sought spiritual support. Then at last it came. After cheering the team on a lap of honour, the fans spilled out of the stadium, and a new fountain, completed only 24 hours earlier, was duly christened. The celebrations continued well into the morning. The fans were still dancing at dawn when the task of clearing up the stadium began. 2 fans lost their passports. 7 others missed the ferry home this morning. 5 others, slightly the worse for drink, spent the night in local police cells. But once again, the fans of Aberdeen have excelled themselves in Europe. The local police and the British consulate here in Gothenburg have praised their behaviour. There's no doubt it's the greatest achievement in the club's history. And despite the hangover...
Historic victory, the Red Army were not taking prisoners as they hit the Swedish night spots.
Just in case anyone was still trying to sleep it off, the ferry added her voice to the chorus. That set off a chain reaction from the fishing boats and supply ships round the port, as the 500 sailing fans got a hero's welcome all of their own. None of them wanted to miss the scenes, and they'd taken over vantage points in the lifeboats and up the masts just to make sure. And once again in this incredible red and white letter week, another city location was transformed into a corner of Pittodrie. Don's boss Alex Ferguson and striker Mark McGee brought the trophy to the quayside with them for these supporters' first sight of it on Scottish soil. For those waiting on shore, a chance to show that for some, Don's mania is in its infancy. Just about all the 500 passengers must have shaken hands with the manager. The perfect end to a perfect trip.
I've been on the ship now 6 years, and the atmosphere. I was down the stairs last night just to join in the celebrations for about an hour or so, and it was absolutely tremendous. I've never seen anything like it before.
Do you suppose there's been a voyage like that, quite like that before?
I doubt it very much. I doubt it very much. And I must say that the behaviour was exemplary. We had absolutely no trouble at all. One small incident on the outward crossing, and of course the football team got the correct result, so that on the way back it was absolutely tremendous.
So none of the fears of hooliganism, nothing like that?
Nothing like that at all. We haven't checked up on what we'll not know till this afternoon, but I've not even heard any damage at all, even broken glasses, something like that. That's about all.
P&O have found new passengers, the supporters a brand new football special. But the company say it's unlikely they'll comply with the wishes of one fan who wanted to book passage from here up the Clyde to Hampden for the Scottish Cup final next week. The crew won't have had time by then to catch up on sleep lost at the victory parties. It was quite a night, as Nick Cowie reports.
They'd saved the celebration until everyone had had a good day's sleep. Immediately after the match, the fans had been so drained of emotion that they just talked and relived the goals until the early hours. Then, last night, the party that was to last until almost breakfast time today began. It really didn't seem possible to top the scenes from the journey out, but the Red Army had promised that would be nothing compared to what we'd see if they won, and they were right. This was just the warm-up as they began to demolish the rapidly dwindling supply of beer and dance their way home to Aberdeen. It's midnight now on the last night of the voyage, and after 4 days on the ship we're left with 100 different impressions, all of them good-humoured. The fans here have been magic. They've been good ambassadors for their city. There's been no trouble, though it's been a free spending trip. £9,500 have gone across the counter of the duty-free shop here, and some 15,000 cans of lager have been drunk. But despite that, the behaviour's been good. And just to give one example of the sort of people these are, in the early hours of this morning, when the fans, we all were celebrating winning the cup, we received some sad news on board that one of the fans had died of a heart attack at the match. To a man, everyone stood up and held 2 minutes silence, and a very, very large donation is going to the family of that man. But on a happier note, the parties are still going on board all over the ship here, and everyone's having a good time. And by the morning, we just hope that the cup will be there to greet us at the dockside. Meanwhile, back at the disco, the band were losing the decibel battle with the fans. How they still had voices left after days of singing and cheering, we'll never know. What they certainly hadn't lost was the amazing goodwill and humour that had marked the trouble-free trip from the beginning. One veteran fan said he'd never seen anything like it in his life, and that included VE Day. Perhaps it was all summed up by the last tannoy message from the purser. Will the passenger who lost his false teeth please come to reception, where he'll find them stuck in an apple?